Therapy Army. We're having it. We're having it, Therapy Army. We're having it. We are having it. Bumbaye's already got the tribute ready. Man like Scott McTominay. Like I said, I'm still not going to believe it until you see him holding up that Napoli shirt. But welcome to United Real Therapy. You are T. Who are we? You are T. Who are we? You are T. Yeah. Up the Reds. How are we doing, people? How are we doing? We've got lots of things to discuss, people. Loads of things to discuss tonight. I'll be welcome Sterling by 10 p.m. INEOS are doing INEOS things. Sterling, he says, Johnny Wayne, I'm hearing stuff to rebuild from our club, yet we're signing washed players like Sterling. I was sold a dream. Okay. The only way Sterling makes sense if he gets Sancho a massive wage off the ball and Sterling low consider rather than have a lucky open midfield. Sterling means I'm at bench. Pick up Bob Burrow. Tony to Chelsea, disgrace. We're fucking letting it happen. We ain't serious. All this shit keep hearing about how serious club now is. Serious because we get fight. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, big up to the early birders. Go on, fucking get Tony. Hey, Sterling will kill Ahmad. Coach now will not play him. Jim the INEOS glazes out. Fucking love. People are already at it, man. Big up Mufc. Mufc says Man United are like Oasis. They are back. I hope we're not nothing like them, mate. I hope we're a football club. Bombay. Yeah, how are you? How are you doing? Big up to you.
Good evening, brother. How you doing? Good evening, Therapy Army. Everything is nice, man. Just played the game. Really good game. And then walked off the pitch and got my heart broken when my boy's gone. I'm going to miss him, man. You know, it's always for me a little bit sad when you lose an academy player. So I'm looking at Scott McTominay as somebody that I would have liked to have kept as part of the squad. He's, I've always thought he's a good all-round player, not phenomenal at anything, but I was a fan of him pretty quickly because he's fearless, man. You know, he's a tough boy. He knows what it's about. But I suppose 25 million is not a bad amount of money, and you know he goes to my other boy Conte at Napoli. So hopefully,
Reunited,
man,
your boys. He's wearing a wig. He's wearing a wig.
You know me, I don't
Antonio
watch.
Conte is wearing a wig. So Bumbaye's boys, Scott McTominay, and man like he's wearing a wig.
Bro, you know me, I don't watch too much other than Premier League, but I'm keeping eyes on Marseille and now Napoli as well. I want to see how he does out there. But yeah, there you go.
Hold up the shine yet. Has he held up the shirt yet? We have to wait and see that first. Let's not get me too giddy. Are we right, Tom? Tommy, where are we, Tommy? Where are we, Tommy? Where are we?
Yeah, I forgot to yeah, go on. Big up.
Big up.
How are you?
Good evening, guys.
Not bad, guys.
Listen, I've summoned you all for an emergency meeting tonight because there's a lot of news surrounding Manchester United. And some of it sounds a bit scary. Sounds a bit scary. But anyway, Bumbaye started here. He's happy that his boy Scott McTominay is teaming up with his manager. He's wearing a wig. Antonio bloody Conte. The perfect dream team. You know what I mean? Bad boys. You know what I mean? Scott McTominay and Antonio is wearing a wig.
I've only noticed as well. He's changed the profile pic and everything.
Got to be done, boys, man. This is Scott McTominay, not some run-of-the-mill guy.
So listen, we'll let you take the reign. We'll let you do the intro first of all. Go ahead, Bumbaye. I'm gonna mute.
So what can I say? I have always liked this player, and the fact that he's an academy guy, came out under Jose, has always endeared him to me, and he's a tough kid, and I really like that about him. I would have kept him. I think he's a valuable squad player. Low maintenance, doesn't moan, not on massive money, dependable, comes in, does a job. But I respect the fact that he's thinking, I'm 27. He's only 27. This is prime now. He's not 29 or 30. He's born in 1996 on the 8th of December, this kid. He's coming into his absolute best year now. This is peak. So we're bringing in a guy that can't get into the PSG team called Ugarte to do a job for us. And we've got rid of this guy for 25 million. So I know a lot of people are like, happy that he's gone and that, but let's see what Ugarte can bring to this team. And to be honest, I'm really happy for him that he's gone to, there was quite a few suitors. It's a good amount of money, 25 million for Scott McTominay. And I think he's gone hopefully to a manager that, I like the way Conte plays. This is a Conte type player, and I hope it works out. I really do. So I'll be tuning into Napoli. I'm tuning into Marseille as well as Man United. So I want to, keep tabs on him, and I wish him all the best. He's a guy who's 255 games for Manchester United, kept out a lot of good players. Every manager liked him, played him. Jose, Ranić, Oli, put him in, 29 or 30 goals, I think. Not bad going, He's not asked as well, Scott. He comes in, he plays against the big teams, he scores big goals. But like everybody else, he's suffered a little bit. He's had so many managers, teams flip-flopped and that, and you can see, Napoli were in for him. Fulham were looking at him. I think there was another club. So he's a good player. He's not a great player or a world-class player, but he's a good, dependable player that is, I felt, would have been a good asset to have this year. We need, at least, in my opinion, you're going to deploy 3 midfielders every week. You got Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup. Like I said, man, low maintenance guy, not on big money, not high profile, but solid. He knows what Man United's all about. He loves it. He's from the academy. So good luck to him, man. And let's see if this is a good decision. Let's see what Ugarte can bring into Manchester United.
Yeah.
All right, Jarvis, you want to pay your respects to Scott McTominay while we're there?
Listen, if you start taking the piss, I'm fucking getting off. I'm not happy.
Tom, you want to pay your respects?
Fuck
Scott
off.
McTominay. Scott McTominay. Hey, I'll just say thanks for the memories, me personally. Dara, thank you so much for the memories, Scott. Like that goal in the rain, pouring rain, Derby day, where Alisson had a bit of a hot head, came out. Fred played the worst pass you'd ever see. Alisson of Man City tried to clear it. He came to Scott McTominay from the halfway line and he absolutely smashed it into an empty net. That's my fondest memory of Scott McTominay. This wasn't personal. It was never personal. I don't know the fella. I heard he's a pretty good professional. And I wish that nothing but good. But I'm sorry, being a good professional without talent means fuck all to me at Manchester United. Talent is what matters. So for me, it's thank you and goodbye, Scotty. Goodbye. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. Good luck with that wig. Hey, he's wearing a wig. Be careful, Scott. When you're sleeping, Antonio Conte might be there with his scissors cutting your hair, mate, so he can slam it on top of his, mate. So, you know that short back and sides, army haircut. They might fancy a bit of that, so be careful with your hair. Be careful where you sleep, my friend. But other than that, it's all good. I wish him nothing but the best. He put in it. One thing I would say about him in every game, even though he's not good enough, he gave it his all. And that's all you can ask. So good luck to him. Jarvis?
Yeah. I can back what Boumbaye said. You know, he was okay player. He's never been the biggest problem for us. You know, I think he has struggled a little bit. He played with Fred. Both him and Fred was both limited during the last time of Mourinho and Solskjaer, I would say. And under Ten Hag, it was never the right man. We want to be more progressive. We want to play more with the ball on our feet, possession-based, not counter-attacking, sitting back. So even then, he have produced goals. It was never the right fit. So I think it's time. He's 28 years old. I think he's done his time at Man United and ready to move on. And for us to cash in 25 million, I would say that's okay. I can live with that. I would have liked a little bit more, but you know, it is what it is. When you see other players, I don't know. McTominay is one of those. You can say he was underrated, but he's also overrated because of the goals, and his effort has always been good. You know, they say hard work beats talents when talent doesn't work hard. And that's true. But in the Premier League, the competition is so hard that the talent actually works hard. So there's no room for McTominay, if you know what I'm saying. So I think he will do well in Italy. It's a slower league, and he will be even more physical and stronger compared to the opposition. So I think he will actually do really well when you see players like, for example, Smalling going to Italy and dominating, and you have other players going there and doing really well from the Premier League. So yeah, I wish him good luck. And now it's time for Ugarte, and I would actually like another defensive midfielder or a number 8 to be Kobe Mainu's understudy or replacement in a way.
Big up man like Jarvis. Listen, we've put a poll in there. We put the poll. Let me tell you about the poll, people. The poll is simple. The poll is simple. We said, who would you swap Sancho with? Sterling, Cucurella, Lavia, or get money and go and buy a left back? Let me know what you think, people. Can you see that? Can you guys see that? Can you guys see the poll?
Yeah, the poll is up. The poll is up. I'm voting Lavia right away. So
yeah, big up, people. Big up, man. Big up. It says Sterling at this stage should be going to Brentford or Fulham, not Man United. Good to get rid of Sancho, but Sterling ain't the replacement. Big up, Mufc. Appreciate your super chat, bro. How you doing? Listen, I'm good at Khan. Big up to you. Nobody looks happy. Yeah, I'm look happy, man. I look happy that Scott McTominay is no longer trying to go and save Eric Ten Hag's job. None of this the last 15, 20 minutes, Scott McTominay getting in there. If he does go, but I still don't believe it. I'm getting excited if it's true. If what I'm hearing is true. Because until he's holding up the shirt and giving a little bit of that ruffle to that Antonio Conte wig, then I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? I'm not buying it. Why can't Antonio Conte be like me? Just accept it, lad. Accept it. Just accept it, lad. Eh? Accept it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Hey, be me and Bumbaye, man. Be like me and Bumbaye. And the rest of the people out here. You know what I mean? Tom and Jarvis still got that silky hair business, eh? You know what I mean? I bet you Tom's got the Oasis look, eh? Hey.
Full set of hair.
You know what I mean? I bet Tommy's like got the sideburns as well. What have in it? Hey, what have in it?
And the Lambretta coat.
The boys are back together. Hey. Big up, people. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video.
So look, have you got the results from the poll?
Subscribe to the channel. No, the poll is still going.
Still going.
The poll is still going, man. I can't even see the poll anymore, actually. I can't see the
poll. But Nuruddin, just to turn the question around when it comes to McTominay, Ugarte is obviously not his replacement. And we don't have no one to crash the box as McTominay do. So who will actually take his place and replace him? Because he will leave some kind of void in this squad. Yeah. You know, he scored, I would say, was it 10 goals last season? How will we replace those goals?
So we're gonna come to that 1 second. So at this moment in time, Bumbaye, would you like to swap Sancho for Sterling? 0, Cucurella, 23%. Lavia, 34%. Get the money and buy a left back, 43%.
0 on Sterling.
Zero on Sterling. Not even one person. That's 1% of people have voted for that. But people, there's over 100 of you. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let's get into it, people. Let's crack along, people. Let's tell it as it is, right? First of all, that's a goodbye to Scott. Hey, Tom, have you done your goodbye to Scott McTominay? Pay your tribute, Tom. Come on. 00 Tom. Let's be hearing it. Let's be having you.
Okay. Broke out under Mourinho. He was his golden child. We had a McFred.
Remember, he invented a special trophy for him.
Yeah, he invented a special trophy for him. He had a brilliant love-hate relationship with Fred, called McFred. That's another chapter of Scott McTominay's career. What other part of it? Ragnick, where it was just run around the pitch and act like a fucking maniac, crock everybody. And now you've had Erik ten Hag, which is the lifesaver, the last man standing. And he come up with every single late goal in scrappy games that, let's face it, guys, we didn't deserve to win last season. We really didn't. But what I'll say about McTominay is the sort of character that he is, guys, is the sort of person that you want at a football club because of the professionalism that he gives you. But the talent that he has as a footballer, he wasn't blessed. So he wasn't blessed, and he certainly isn't Manchester United level in terms of winning trophies. The only thing that I think's kept him going for this many years, if I'm being completely honest, guys, is he's a player from the academy. Man United's in his blood, and he understands what it means to play for this club. That's the one thing that I'd never questioned about the guy. He did understand what it meant to play for this club. And whenever he went out there, he wore the shirt with pride. Whereas there's other players that we've had at this football club who they come in, who aren't a part of the academy, don't really understand this club. There's many that we can say that to our guys. Di Maria, Falcao, there's so many players that we could list off. Sanchez, who just don't get this club when they walk through the door. When he walked through as a little boy, he understood this club. So yeah, listen, he's not done anything heinous or disrespectful to Manchester United. So I wish him all the best in Napoli. I agree with what Jarvis said. I think the league will suit him quite well over in Italy. But don't be, in Bumbay's case, I won't be praying if we get to January, we need an emergency loan in midfield. Don't be ringing Scott McTominay's number. That's all I'm going to say. We can lose that number from the phone book, from the atmosphere. But no, I think, like I say, I think it's a good move for him, all things considered. And one thing that Jarvis said, and Bombay said in particular, that I agree with, is I don't think he was ever the biggest problem at this club, but he wasn't going to be a big enough solution to help us move forward. So it's best for everybody that what's happened, and we can move on from it. But I do agree with what Jarvis said, and I don't see Ugarte as this like-for-like replacement. So either now or later down the line, we're going to have to buy another midfielder anyway. It's not a like-for-like replacement.
Yeah, sure, he's not. And who will replace his 10 goals? That's another question.
By the way, bit of breaking news. Soviet Amrabat is negotiation between Fenerbahce and Fiorentina for Soviet Amrabat. 2 million loan, 12 million euro mandatory buyer clause offered. Fiorentina want more. Talks continue. Amrabat also received an approach from Everton today.
Mourinho's team, Fenerbahce,
yeah. Big up people. Yeah, so there we go. So you've done your little you've done your goodbye to Scott McTominay, did you, Jarvis? Remind me, please.
Yeah, I did. Okay. But I would say we have lost bigger talents. For example, James Garner. He was a much better player, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Sean, let me know if you want to send you the link. Where's Sean? Let me see if Sean wants a link. Yeah. Send that to Sean. No, not Correa. I've just copied.
So, all right, look, let's say who's the second best option to Kobe Minu to start play from the back? Who plays there? With what we've got now, we're not going to sign another midfielder. Let's say at the moment, who you put there?
Probably.
Collier.
Collier's the only one that you've got.
Yeah, Collier. Right. Let's go, people. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Right. That's what we go. But let's get into it, people. So the main topic tonight is, if I go back to my thing, bloody forget it. I write it and I forget it. So Sterling, are we all across this quickly? Sterling from Manchester United. Before we got to Ugarte, what are we saying about Sterling? Let me just update you guys. Let me update you on the on the poll. Sterling 10%.
Always got a vote.
Sancho 10%. Cucurella 24%. Lavia 31%. Get the money and buy left back 35%. So Sterling's got 10% fans within the fan base, people. But
trolling.
Let's talk about it, people. Genuinely, Sterling, Jarvis, quickly. You having Sterling? That's a swap for part Sancho.
Well, for me, it's a big no. I don't rate him. I don't think he's good enough. His technicality, he's a pace merchant, and it's very limited when it comes to his game. He worked well under under Pep in his first couple of years in the Premier League, but he was really set in that system, and I think Pep set him up in a perfect way for him to utilize his pace. Now I've seen him the last season of Chelsea. I think for me, he looks like he thinks he's the star and the star boy, and he takes on too much responsibility. He tries things. He tries to dribble. He tries to do fancy thing with the ball, but he's not good enough. He's very limited. He's kind of like Rashford, and for me, I don't want another Rashford in this squad. So it's a big no. And if we sign him, I will be really frustrated because I think that's a step backwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Bumbaye?
I think he's a good player. He has some qualities that we do lack in this team that are effective if you want to transition. He's good at stretching the game. What he's really good at is getting in behind, playing, that run that none of our guys seem to know how to make. Kind of like in behind the defense, playing across the face of the box. He's a good player, but I don't know if you bring him in. You've got Garnacho to think about. You've got Ahmad to think about. These boys are on the way up. They're doing really well. So it's probably a no at this point, even though I think he is a good player. He got City's Player of the Season 1 year. He was excellent. Big games. So he's been around the mill. Raheem Sterling. He's played at the top of the game and won a lot of things. So, and he's put up with a lot of shit as well, Raheem. Throughout his career because of the way Liverpool happened, and then a lot of things at City. So he's mentally very, very strong person, Raheem Sterling. But for me, at this moment in time, it's just the wrong timing. And the idea of getting rid of Jadon Sancho is a big problem. Let's say you paid 75, even if you put it up at 30, at 35 million. Even of a wage of 200,000, he's on 350. That's what sources seem to say. Who at this moment in time, is going to pay 200,000 a week? Who can pay 200,000 a week every week for a couple of years? It's a major.
I think
commitment.
It's 325 weekly is his wages.
Well, let's say 200. Somebody off. Who's willing to pay even 200 now? Look at the world of football. I was watching earlier Gab Marcotti and Jules. There's not a lot of money out there. Go through all the Premier League clubs. 4 or 5 of them are in profit. In terms of net expenditure and net spend, they've spent nothing. Mm-hmm. Where all the Premier League clubs are about 30, 40 million mark, which is chicken feed for Premier League. You got a couple of clubs like Brighton that are breaking the 100 million barrier, and I think we will as well. United, we might break the 100 million barrier, and Chelsea. That's about it, guys. Villa, net spend now is about 31 million. You got to remember they sold Luiz for 50. They sold that other guy, Diaby, for 60. So, Everton are in profit. Brentford are in profit. Arsenal spent nothing. They've signed 2 players, nothing. So not a lot of money out there. So if you want to get rid of Sancho, it's going to be difficult. I would just get rid of him. I don't know enough about Romeo Lavia, to be honest with you, to say that
Did you watch
seems to
Chelsea?
be.
Did you watch Chelsea versus City the other day?
Nah, not really, bro. Chelsea have a squad that should be challenging for top 4. They've got top players in there, but there's a lot of players, and it's difficult to
Lavia is one
judge.
of the best players they've got. He's been injured for a whole year.
What I'd say as well, just going back to Raheem, I mean, you could catalogue 20 players here that all look pretty ordinary, and they're not. Enzo looks ordinary. The only one that's really doing shit is Palmer.
Okay.
So
big up.
it's
We need
hard
to
to
keep
say.
short. Listen, it's a full house, 5 of us tonight, so we'll keep it short, right? Keep your points and answers short. Football Heritage says fans expect trash like Mount, who has scored 1 goal since 2022, has been awful signing. Won't take Sterling, who's 5-time Premier League. Make it make sense. That's an interesting take. Mount replaced Scott. Jamie Wayne says he'll take Cucurella. I like Cucurella. I thought he was the best left back in the tournament at the Euros. I think he's a very underrated, intelligent left back. I'll take him in a heartbeat. Mount will replace Scott and wait, he's injured again. There you go. Big up Elite. Please smash a like on the video, people. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. We're shadow banned. We try to do what we can in the channel, but it is what it is. I don't even think it's accepting people who subscribe to the channel anymore, but subscribe, like the channel, at least like the videos. Yes. It costs you absolutely nothing. We're not asking you to be a member. We're not asking anything from you. Just like the fucking video. Go ahead, Jarvis, and then I'll go to Sean, and then Tom last.
Yeah, go to ahead. Sean. I already had my say on Sterling, so.
Okay, yeah, you say. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, big up everyone. I'm kind of confused.
First of all, can you pay 2 minutes, 50 seconds of saying goodbye to McTominay? He was
going to take more than 50 seconds,
McTominay, one of my favorites United players.
Big up, Sean.
No, I'm sad.
Reinforcements are here, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm sad, and I think it's a bad squad move. I think the only good arguments for selling McTominay is that we need to raise money at this time, and for that reason, I'm not entirely mad at it. I'm happy that he has gone to Napoli, a big club in Italy. I'm happy he's going to be playing under somebody that's a serious manager, Antonio Conte, who I think likes him and will get the best out of him. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to see McTominay, kill it in Italy, and I wish him all the best. I'm a fan of his, and that's on McTominay. As far as Sterling goes, I don't know where we're having this conversation. Honestly, I really hope it's fake news. You're showing us the highlight reel. Yeah, man, Scott McTominay gets it. I don't know why people were going after Rio when he said you need a player like McTominay in your squad, and I agree, right? I don't like this new idea in football, and I blame Pep, but this and Man City, this new idea that everybody in your squad needs to be like technically gifted and good on the ball.
Listen, fella. Listen, Sean, you've had your say. You said you love him. Goodbye.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So
Sterling.
No, sure. Sterling. Yeah. As far as it goes for Sterling, I don't know where we're having this conversation, honestly. I really hope it's fake news. I think it would be in contradiction to everything that INEOS seems to stand for, and it would just be a waste of time. Like Sterling for what? I mean, to do what exactly at Man United? Aside from the fact that we would be helping Chelsea out of what I think is a toxic situation for them, why should we do anything to help our competitor? We don't need Sterling. He's not going to make a difference for our team. I certainly don't want him to start ahead of Ahmad or Garnacho. I don't even want him to start ahead of Anthony. We have 2 players in each wing. Rashford and Garnacho on the left, Ahmad and Anthony on the right. If we keep Sancho and let him linger around in case either one of those guys gets injured, I'm fine with that. I don't see why we're bringing Sterling into the mix. Like, he doesn't add anything to the squad. And on top of that, we will be helping Chelsea out. Like, I don't think anybody should touch any Premier League team in the Big Five should touch Sterling or should help Chelsea out of that mess. They should either pay Sterling every single penny of his exorbitant contract and what's left of it, or he should stay there and be a nuisance in the dressing room and a poison to Chelsea so that eventually they fail this season. I don't think we should be in the market for Sterling at all.
Are these the Scott McTominay or Paul Scholes highlights? Are you watching this?
Oh, fucking hell.
Screamers, man.
Yeah,
I told you I'll put it a little bit on for you, Bumbaye.
Vigor,
I won't disappoint you.
That's the
Listen,
energy.
Good man.
Listen, so people are saying, so people are happy with Mount that is here, but they don't want to take Sterling 5-time
No, but
Premier
that's
League
a
winner.
that's a false comparison, all right. Aside from the fact that Mason Mount is younger than Sterling, Mason Mount plays in a different position to Sterling. He's on lower wages than Sterling. You know, it doesn't make any sense to make that comparison. Anybody who's asking for
Will
Sterling,
you take Madueke?
no, like for what? Like anybody who's asking for Sterling or Madueke, like where do you want them to play? Like look at the squad that we have. Why are you bringing
Well,
in?
you got Xerxes, Højlund, like, what are we talking about? These
Yeah,
guys, and
like, why are you
Sterling is
bringing
coming in.
in?
Sterling's not coming in for 100 G's a week. This is the last contract. This is going to be big.
Yeah,
Guys.
mean-
When we think about Sterling, one of the characters that always comes up is that he's really quick and he's rapid. He's 29 years old. I think he turns 30 in October, if I'm not mistaken. What are you going to get out of him? 12, 18 months?
In December, he turns 30, yeah.
And you give him
December.
4 years. And what you said, Sean, I agree with. You're helping Chelsea out of this shitstorm that they're in at the moment. What for?
yeah.
Why? What for? Like, and yeah, I agree with what you say. No, I don't think a lot of clubs should touch fucking Chelsea's assets at the moment in time, because the longer that you leave it, guys, they're just going to burn that club down. They're burning it down as it is anyway. They've got a stockpile of talent. They don't know what the fuck to do with. They brought in players from 2 years ago now, in the likes of Sterling, and a lot of that team that they had that were winners in that team, like Aspilicueta, Rudiger, have all fucked off. They've all left that club now because they don't fit the model of what they want. Sterling, really, guys, when you think about the players that we've signed this summer, he would be the anomaly if we brought him in.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you don't change, you don't swap, and even if you wanted to swap Sancho for any player, guys, you don't swap a 23-year-old for a 29-year-old. It's like, and like what I said on Jarvis's show yesterday was, why would you swap a problem at another club for a problem that's at your own club? It doesn't make any sense. You're basically swapping the same player. You're just getting someone who's 5 years older. There's no reason for it. There's no.
Exactly.
I don't get the fucking reasoning behind
Sterling
it.
is a no.
Listen, Tom.
He's a fucking definite now.
Yeah.
Listen, Rio Ferdinand.
Let him rot.
Rio Ferdinand has apparently posted this. Let me just go to it so I can show you guys.
Oh, fucking hell. What is it, Agent Rio?
More than that, Tommy.
Agent Rio. Oh, fucking hell. Go on.
Rio's gone for it. Scott McTominay.
Where's
do you know what would be a dream
when
for
you
me?
need him?
So
A dream for me would be Napoli versus Arsenal, or Napoli versus Man City, or Napoli versus Barca in the Champions League, and McTominay as far as the winning goal. Like,
there we go.
Like, it's best of all.
This is so it's got the timer on here, 51 minutes ago, and it's got the timer on here.
Oh, fucking hell. What's the...
This is what we're spending on the show on now. What's going on here?
This is Rio Ferdinand just doing what he does with the Manchester United fan base.
Getting giddy.
Like literally saying, like, this is what we're doing.
No, so here's the Steelman. Here's the Steelman version of the Sterling transaction, right? And it's the best argument I've heard, that it's going to be treated as two separate transactions. We're going to pay Chelsea. No, sorry, Chelsea is going to pay us. It's going to give us Sterling plus 25 million for Sancho. Right. So that way we're getting some cash and a player for Sancho. So they're valuing Sancho at 50 million or whatever price, and they will give us some cash, and the difference would be in
please.
I don't know about that. I don't know about.
This is your legend, mate. This is how your legend trolls the fan base.
I'm just saying that, like, it's the best argument I've heard for.
This is how he trolls the fan base. Here, look.
Sterling. And as for Rio is a fan like the rest of us now. I mean, let him allow him to
Well,
enjoy
with
his life.
25, even in saying that, Sean and everything, if that's what people think's like a fair deal for Man United side of things, still, I'm not interested. Give me 40 million for him. Give me 40 million for him and buy him. I'm
Let
not
me
interested
update
in
you,
this.
No,
people.
so
Listen,
let
it
me
keeps rising.
Nuruddin, just
It
1
keeps
second.
rising. 1 second.
Let's address the
Would you
Sancho
swap
issue,
Sancho
right?
for Sterling? When you swap Sancho for Sterling, Cucurella, Latvia. I put Latvia, the country. I meant to say Latvia. I'm
Latvia, the
dyslexic.
player.
It's Latvia, not
No, so
Latvia. Eh?
so
All
so
time, all
Tom
the
and
Latvians, man. Big up to all the Latvians.
and the panel, right? The issue with Sancho is that at this point in time, we
Let me
all
finish,
agree
Sean.
that.
Sean, 1 second.
Okay.
Would you swap Sancho for Sterling 14%? Cucurella 22%. Latvia, Latvia, not Latvia, 25%. Get the money and buy a left back, 38%. Big up the lion that is Scholesy. Scholesy, are we having it? You having Sterling?
Scozy left back.
He turned away. I asked him if something Sterling. He was like, nah, mate. He turned away. He's almost like, he looked at me and as a disgust, he was like, what? How dare you? Anyway, let's just get this. So here's what I think this could be going on. I think multiple things could be going on.
Can I quickly set the table for
Yeah,
Sancho? Just 1
Go
second.
ahead.
Yeah, so with Sancho, we all agree that we want to get rid of Sancho from United. It's best for everybody, best for the team. If we get rid of Sancho, ideally we want to get value for Sancho. So we want to receive some money. Best case scenario, all of our money back. But we want to get some money for Sancho. On the table now are 2 offers. One from Juventus for some of his salary and without an obligation to buy. And then on the other hand, you have cash in hand, some cash, 25 million, but it comes with a 29-year-old could have, should have, might have been superstar in Sterling. I think it's a harder question than maybe us fans are willing to reckon with, unless we're all fine with keeping Sancho and going into this season with Sancho just hanging around or looming around. I think it's a tough question. I don't know if I'll dismiss the Sterling transaction so easily, right? So the reporting that they're seriously considering it, I can understand why, given the context.
I just want to say, Nordin, I've been looking at Raheem Sterling's stats, and there's some shocking things in here. For example, you should think that he's a dribbler.
Shocking good or bad?
Yeah, shocking actually, because you think he's a dribbler, he's good at dribbling, but he's on successful take-ons. He's in the 3% percentile of the top 5 leagues. 3%.
Jarvis, he can't do it anymore. Jarvis,
he can't dribble.
He can't do it
can't
anymore.
dribble, and he loses the ball all the time in possession.
So what's Sterling's thing now? What's he good at?
Let's think about it, people. Right? Where's my 2 pence on Sterling? My 2 pence is this, and it's simple. Raheem Sterling, even though he's a boy Manchester United fan, it's too late. 4 years ago, yes. 5 years ago, definitely, I would have took him. Not now. 4 years ago, I would take Sterling. Not now. The reason why I'm not taking Sterling is because Sterling is one of these players who, in football years, is about 36, 35. Now, some of you thinking, what is he saying about football years? Raheem Sterling started his career, I think, at the age of 17, 18 when he burst into Liverpool. The decline has been evident. The decline of Sterling has been evident. When you have played that many hundreds and hundreds of games at the top level, because he played for Liverpool, high octane team, right? Then he played for City, high octane, lots of running. To me, the decline is there for everybody to see. So Sterling, for me, he is, like I said, 35, 36 in football years, because he started off when he was younger and he played a lot of games. So for me, no thank you. He's not going to add anything to it. He likes the ball to feet. Manchester United actually not try to play that type of football. And we're going to go straight into the Ugarte, welcoming Ugarte. Manchester United have doubled down and tripled down on backing Eric Ten Hag's high pressing team not wanting to keep possession, wanting to have runners in the team.
We're going to fight.
At the end of the day, that is what they have gone for it. The reason why we're getting rid of Sancho is not because him and Eric Ten Hag's falling out, because he doesn't actually suit Eric Ten Hag's system. He doesn't suit the Eric Ten Hag system. He believes Bruno in the number 10, and actually out wide, Sancho is more of retaining the ball. He's actually a retainer of the ball. He's not that great on the press, so he is not needed. It's the style, actually, more than anything else. So that's the reason why we're not needed. Now, I think this is what could be happening. I think Juventus are coming in, and Manchester United are going to try to make Juventus, right, and negotiating with Sterling. You want to get Juventus to basically have a clause on this contract, so where there's an obligation to buy next season. And I think that's why they're keeping the Chelsea. And I think United are fueling the Chelsea links. I looked at the people that they're fueling, right? And I looked at the wording.
Would you rather cash in hand or
Let me finish.
loan?
Let me finish. So, no. Juventus want to loan him, right? With no obligation to buy. Manchester United want a loan. They're happy to loan him, but with the obligation to buy, right? The people who are fueling this in the last couple of hours is Sky. Manchester United have links with Sky. David Einstein has links with Manchester United. And if you look at the David Einstein actually wording, it's very interesting. And to me, that's a brief. I can smell the brief. Do you know what I mean by brief, people? Brief is when a negotiating club puts out other feelers and says, oh, we're negotiating with somebody else as well. Oh, yeah, this deal is coming close. Because you want to put the frighteners on that club. This is what is done. And that's what I think is a tactic.
It's an interesting deal on the table. Like, yeah. I don't think you're addressing the trade-off here between cash, 25 million cash, plus an old player versus a loan where they would pay some of the salary and maybe would buy him later.
Listen, the loss of Sancho would be, we bought him for 70-something million. If we were to take 25 million plus Sterling, who's a dead food, he's basically a dead footballer, man. The decline, I've said it to you already, the decline is real because this guy has played loads of football before. By the way, a bit of breaking news.
We would be able to apparently
Demasio is reporting. 1 second. Demasio is apparently reporting that Lazio are considering move for Victor Lindelof. I hope they do. I really hope they do. Man UFC are looking at one of after Ugarte, one more in They're not looking Ugarte. For a left back. Yeah. Okay, listen, it is what it is. So here's what I think that's happening. That's what I believe is happening. Because it would be, like I said to you, everything INEOS have done, the type of profile players they've signed an 18-year-old, 23-year-old, 23-year-old. They signed a 25-year-old, 26-year-old. They've not gone over to sign anybody near 27. So let me repeat. The players Manchester United have signed, we've signed 2 young players.
Yeah, the oldest person
who are not over. Yeah, who are 18, right? That's
Obi Martin.
Obi Martin. And then we signed the other young kid, apparently we're signing him. And then, so we're signing these type of players. And we've signed 1, 2, 3, 1 under 18, 2 under 24, 125, that is the lit, and 126, that is Masraoui. So this idea, I'll be absolutely shocked if they did that, right? Big up Khalis Ramadin Lassi, Chief Editor United Real Therapy. Please make sure you follow him at Khalis Ramadin Lassi on Twitter. If you're interested in your politics and real issues as well, he's always tweeting. So big up to Khalis. Kindred spirit, a brother in arms. That's what I say. Big up. This Sterling, idea for me, that's what I think of is Sterling. Yeah. I would have took Sterling 4 years ago, not now. That's the difference right now. And I think some of the fan base, they love a reject, a simmer frame reject that's a decline.
No, don't worry. I don't think anybody's seriously actually looking for Sterling. I don't think anybody's seriously.
So for me, that's what it is. So let me say, Dan Ashworth's particularly enthusiastic about the potential swap. Wow, that's crazy. I think Dan Ashworth, I personally believe, is there. That's a brief. Dan Ashworth is briefing that so that to get Juventus to hurry up what's going on. But
I
anyway,
don't take it
people,
seriously.
the
They have
reason
a
why,
fiduciary obligation to consider money on the table.
the reason why, in terms of Sterling as a runner, is declined. He doesn't run beyond. He doesn't play on the shoulder of people anymore. He likes the ball to keep. If you've been keeping an eye what his form has been like at Chelsea, and the reason why they don't want him is because they want fresher, younger players. Chelsea are the equivalent of Epstein when it comes to young players.
What the fuck?
If you know, they're like Epstein. They're like full on Epstein Chelsea.
That is
Right,
wild,
Chelsea.
man.
That's who they are.
Yeah, no,
So-
except it's more problematic, right? Because it's like young, I don't know, seemingly just assembled a bunch of young black men. So there's a weird angle
No.
to Chelsea young. So
Some funny
nah,
business.
that's interesting.
Something funny business is going on. Scott McTominay, Napoli, here we go. There we go. Boom. Big up. Big up, Scott McTominay. Love and light. We're happy for you. So I don't think it's going to happen. So let's go into the town. Manuel Ugarte, welcome to Manchester United. We hope that you have a fantastic career at this football club, and we hope that you can help this manager and INEOS, who have backed him now, fully backed him, and got against everything he wanted, and bringing a type of player that are not here to keep possession, not the type of player that are here to keep control of the ball or the tempo, but the type of player to get about the picture and try to limit the counter-attacks that Manchester United face. This guy, to me, proves to me more than anything that INEOS have targeted him. This is what Erik ten Hag wanted. This is what INEOS wanted. And they have literally going down to the river. Some would say going down to the... Tom, help me out with the analogy. They're going down the sinkhole with Erik ten Hag in terms of where they're going with him. But they
why are we having this conversation now, right?
Listen,
why is the conversation about Ten Hag? Not the 23-year-old hot prospect that we just signed.
Because the type of player he is. Manchester United, if they don't sign a ball playing to come in, and it's not a left back, a ball playing midfielder to come in and to help control the possession of the ball, then that will tell us clearly that what they want is somebody to limit the counter-attacks. The tactics on what we see of Erik ten Hag is to make Manchester United to this pressing machines, and he's here to deliver it. Now, I'll go to you, Jarvis. Jarvis, do you agree, disagree, or what? What do you think? Quickly, and I'll go
on Manuel Ugarte, I think he's brilliant contribution to the squad. I think he will come good. I think it's what we need. But again, we lack someone who can play the long ball from when we sit deep. We saw it against Brighton when we didn't have, and we talked about it yesterday. When we don't have Bruno in the midfield, who is going to play the ball? Because Maguire can't do it, Casemiro can't do it, Mainu, he can't do it. He's good, but he can't play the long ball in behind. So then we can't utilize our runners like Rashford, like Ahmad, Garnacho, in a way, because we can't get the pass through. And we know in the Premier League, we will play against many teams who will play an extreme high line, as we saw against Brighton. We have Aston Villa, we have Spurs, we have Arsenal. All of them will push up high and make the field very compact. So it will be impossible for us to play out from the back, or they will make it less effective because there won't be any space. So they will just stop us. So we need someone who can hit that long ball. And I would like a better passer on the ball, and that's why I would like us to sign another midfielder, because I think that's really important. But if you see it from the other side, when you look at Ten Hag's Ajax teams, especially his last Ajax team, he didn't have a ball progressive midfielder in that side. He had Gravenberch and Alvaro, what's his name? Alvarez, the guy who plays at West Ham. But he used his defender to carry the ball upwards, and he had really progressive defenders like Masraoui, like the Daley Blind. He had Martinez and what's his name again? The guy at Arsenal who plays centre back now. He was injured last season. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Timber.
So yeah, Timber. Thank you, Boumbaye. So I don't know if this is Ten Hag's plan now. He wants to go into a more progressive style with progressive carriers from the defenders to move the ball upwards into the midfield, and we will let our midfield just push up, and we will basically go into the 3-1-6 that way. So we will see, but I'm skeptical, especially playing against all these teams in the new modern style with the high line, because even on Ten Hag's second team, you didn't face opposition like that, because now it's madness. If you saw Brighton, how high they were pressing up, they were like basically on with the whole team on our side of the pitch. So it will be difficult, but I hope Ten Hag knows what he's doing, unless he will be gone until Christmas, I think.
Jarvis, I personally believe that the way that Manchester United want to play, and I've again tried to watch the play. I think watch the game again today, because I've been obsessed with this Brighton game, because I'm shocked that the players didn't take advantage of the high line and the way Brighton were playing, Jarvis.
Yeah, but we didn't have the quality.
Listen, it's not just the quality, but we were playing pattern football. We weren't just running. So people were keeping their positions, and then what usually Bruno and Rashford are good at, they weren't doing, Jarvis. What they're usually good at, like just getting that Bruno coming a bit shorter, dinking that ball over the top to Rashford. They weren't doing that. And the only time we saw it was the goal. We showed it last night. Was the goal that came from Masraoui, where he played the ball perfectly there for Amad Diallo. Nuruddin, Man UFC needs to use Birch to pressure PSG to sell Ugarte, and it's using Sterling to sell Sancho to Juve. Yeah, big up, elite baller. Let me just get the super chat. Sterling is owned 70 million in wages by Chelsea. No thanks. That's crazy, bro. Big up. Merck's keeping Sterling out of the squad, and he's about the same level as Anthony, for fuck's sake. I pray to God INEOS change their mind on this Sterling deal. It makes zero sense. Big up to my brother from another Mr. Augustina Zinga. Big up to him, Augustine. Listen, I told you I need you to invite me on the podcast, man. I want to talk about culture, fashion, music. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. You don't know about my man like me. I need the invite still. I need the invite. And you're welcome to come on here anytime, man. Anytime you want to come and have your 2 pence. Juventus have seen Manchester decide to include obligation to buy Jadon Sancho are willing to pay his full wages. That's what I'm talking about, people. That's what I'm talking about. Juventus remain in dialogue. Manchester over Jadon Sancho. Serie Club wants to straight loan and now waiting on a decision from the club, Sancho. There you go. There you go. So, people, I say it and I say it simple, people. I say it and I say it simple. Manchester United for me, big up, King. If you want the link, if you want to come on now, have your say, Agostino. Let me know. I'll send you the link. Love, King. Always love. To me, it just shows me that the tactic is not to kind of keep the ball. Not to want to keep the ball. I genuinely 100% believe that. The tactic is not want to keep the ball. It's chaos football, and he's doubled down on chaos football. But I want to go to Tom. I want to go to Tom, Sean. So hold your thing. Write your notes down. Tom, are you here? Are you on the Stella? Or are you on the Jack Daniels? Tommy boy, are you here?
Listen, boys, I need to.
Go ahead. Just answer that question. Do you think by Ugarte signing, he's not he's a bit of a carrier, like Java said. He can carry the ball, but I think the Premier League is really difficult because there's hardly any space. And I've been reading articles, like reading loads of things. I was really enthusiastic about this guy, right, to begin with, right? I was enthusiastic, and people have said to me, Nuruddin, check the stats, check the numbers, and read the scouting reports about him. And actually, when he left, because the Portuguese league is more technical, it's not as physical and demanding as the French league or the Premier League. The closest league to the Premier League in terms of physicality, in terms of pace, and is the French league, not the German league, not the Spanish league, not the German league. It is literally the French league. And apparently, it took him time to basically adapt Bombaye to the French league because of the pace, because of the crazy, because of the physicality of it. Because he's left the Portugal, which is slightly bit more technical, just similar technical to the Spanish. It's not as technical as the Spanish, but very similar in that sense, right? And then the other thing is that when you have him chasing people, especially things like the Champions League, you just play a quick 1-2 around him. And he cannot. He's good at making challenges if other people are active like him. If other people are there like him, Mbaye, then he's very good at being hustle and bustle. One of the famous quotes he said is, when we've got the ball, it's a game. When we don't have the ball, it's a fight. So that's the kind of mentality. So Uruguayan, tenacious, aggression, all that intensity. But in the Champions League, actually, I watched some clips, right? My friend sent it to me the other day. A clip from AC Milan to Paris Saint-Germain game. And AC Milan were just popping the ball around him. And because with players who want to tackle, you can do that. You can just play passes around them. And if it's just him, he's going to be like a headless chicken. So it's about the rest of physicality. But Mbaye, where do you go? Do you agree with me that Erik ten Hag and INEOS are back Erik ten Hag to go and actually go to this type of football? This type of football, like where it is high octane, is almost similar to what it was on the first season, where we were just playing with aggression and intensity, and the games that we didn't, we struggled. For example, in the away games on that first season, we were getting beat. Well, I think we got beat by the top 6 or the top 7 teams because they were bopping the ball around us. So do you see that, yes or no?
Look, I think what I'm going to say to you transcends this signing, Ugarte. He looks like a little Kante to me. His passing is not bad. He zips around all over the place. He's very good in a tackle. He's a good, clean tackler. But I didn't think Amrabat was particularly good, but Amrabat looked good when we changed things. He started to be effective. A little bit reminds me of how Ugarte seems to come from nowhere, and steal that ball and is in the right place at the right time. For me, I think INEOS, this has been one of the best transfer markets I've seen in the last 11 years for me personally, in terms of what's gone and what we're bringing in. That's my take on it. And not only that, the way that we're signing. But the key remains 2 things. One, Ralph Rangnick said something, which is what I think the remit of the structure has to be. Identify what you want to do on the pitch and get the right people in order to do it. And I think that disconnect over the last 10 years is vivid for all of us to see. There are good players that are coming here and they're not doing anything. We've had lots of good managers here. There's been a disconnect. So this is the most important thing. If Ugarte is the guy that Erik ten Hag and these people feel is right, I'm on board whatever you want to do. You want to bring Sterling in? I wouldn't bring him in. But I want this, for me, the whole point of Erik ten Hag this season is my curiosity needs to be satisfied. I'm not satisfied that last season was a season to get rid of him because I looked at the bench, it was dead. I looked at the team, it was dead. I want to see what he can do with his full set of toys and a few new ones fit. I want to find out, is Erik ten Hag, or is it bullshit? I don't know, but that's what I'm here to find out. I'm just observing. And I'm going along with any transfer that you want to bring. I don't really have, to be honest, I'm on the show and that, but I'm just at the moment don't have too much to say. I just want to watch Man United play. There's things that I really liked at Brighton, really liked. I want them as part of the repertoire. There's things that I don't like. I don't know how Manchester United are going to play. I can't pick you a starting 11, especially in midfield. You've got very good midfielders and you've got a good team with a good bench now. There's competition for places. Erik has to find the right balance for this team. It's very simple.
Yeah.
We have, just last point, you have Kobe Mainu, you have Casemiro, you have Bruno, you have Mason Mount, now you have Ugarte. These are not donkeys. These are not donkeys. This is a very, very good set of midfielders that can do different things. You're going to have to deploy 3 of them. You need to find the right balance for this team. This false 9 thing is not working. We have got goals in that team. Bruno's got goals. Mount is a goal scorer. I don't know, people are already sleeping on Mount because if you're injured, you're injured. But as a player, I'm really excited for this player. Rashford's got goals in him. Ahmad has obviously got goals in him. Xerxes got goals in him. There's goals in the team. You have to translate that. You have to bring that to the fore. Very simple. So how we're going to play and who's the starting 11, I don't even know that yet. So it's just about watching me and observing. I want him to succeed. I'm very excited with the players that we've brought in, especially Xerxes. He's caught my eye really, really well. And this is no excuse now. We have a good side. It's a top 4 side. The 7 or 8 teams looking for top 4. We're one of them. So I will know how I feel about Eric as the season develops. Much more than that, I can't really look into the future, and I don't know. But if this is what you think you need, get him. Do whatever you want to do. It's not my money. You know what I mean? You want Sterling, get Sterling. You want get whatever. But I'm just looking, what's this team going to offer me up? I want to see good football, and you're going to have to get results. This playing well and losing, this don't make any sense. If we win Brighton, or if we even draw at Brighton 1-1, that's a whole different conversation we're having here. But the fact that you lose in the 95th minute, whether you want to admit it or not, the results are key, man. They change the narrative of everything. You would be going into Liverpool now, different mentality. But you got popped at Brighton in a shit goal. But I thought we were there, man. It was a 50-50 game. We played really well in parts of that game. You know, it was some excellent stuff I seen. But nobody really, all that is overlooked. And you can see it in the reaction of the fans. It's obvious. It's only game week 2 for me. Way too early for anything like that, in my opinion. So we'll see where we go. But hopefully it's good.
Yeah, but Mumbai, I feel like you are just like a bystander now, and you will just watch and see what's going to happen.
That's all it is, man.
What's your thoughts? What do you think will happen? Just give your prediction for the next.
Jarvis, I'm sorry, that's a low blow. That's a low blow.
No, I'm not trying to take a dig on Mumbai. I'm just curious.
Mumbai is just a bystander. He's the Ten Hag. He wanted Ten Hag to stay. And
no, but we should all be Ten Hag in it.
No, but it's not. Let me just clarify. Mate. It's not about Ten Hag in and outer.
Yeah, like it's why
about coming on to Roost Mumbai. People like you and Sean need to eat grass, mate. Go ahead.
Look, bro, it's not about eat grass. No problem. Look, the manager last season, I have already said to you, and to anybody that's Ten Hag out, whatever, it's your right to have that opinion. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. You might be right. But I feel it was way too premature, and we needed this season with a fit team and some new players to find out if he is or he isn't. I wasn't able to find that out last season because of the circumstance. It just derailed. So I'm here to find, is he or isn't he? And to have stuck him last season under those circumstances, I feel would have been a what if, too big of a what if for me. So we're here to find out. If he's doing bad, you don't need me or any. He's gonna go. But there is the very real possibility that you and the guys that are screaming at him after just 2 games are going to come around and think, you know what? Actually, we like what we see now.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to wait and see.
No, but we need you. We need people to make the affirmative case for Ten Hag. Right? I think this has been the longest.
You're on your own, Sean. You're on your own.
No. It's Sean, bro. It's not the affirmative case. It was a case of no. This is wrong. It's not fair to sack him and be dismissive of everything. So he's here, and you back him. And you don't just wait for him to.
We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. Mumbai is jumping shit, mate. Now that
no jumping shit.
Now that Eric Ten Hag's got rid of his boy Scott McTominay, he's jumping shit. By the way, people.
Antonio.
By the way, people.
All right, and you like content too.
I really want to hit the good news with Mumbai. Guess who else signed the same day for Napoli? Your boy Timberlimbo's Lukaku. Lukaku.
I've never been a fan of Lukaku.
Do you know that? Seriously, that they signed Lukaku as well?
Yeah, there'll be a difficult team to play against Napoli.
Yeah.
Do you know that, Bombay? No, I want to ask Bombay. Do you know that they signed Lukaku as well today?
No, I
Antonio
didn't know,
Conte?
bro. I didn't know. I think. Do you know? Look, I mean, you know that I like Antonio. Yeah, I think the Napoli as a city and the fans with Antonio's madness and the type of profile of players he's signing, I'm really interested to see what he can do with them because I know people laugh at that, but I think Antonio, man, is one of the top managers, and let's see
Yeah.
if he can
Yeah.
bounce back. Do you know what I mean? I know Tottenham was bad and all the top spots at the big clubs are taken, but sometimes it's nice to go to a Napoli. Maybe you bring them back, to the fore, get them in the Champions League, and let's see what he can do. It's limited budget there. It's not endless money like some of the other Italian clubs and that, but I think Antonio, man, he is somebody that can really revitalize a club like Napoli and the profile of these types of players. It is
Yeah,
intriguing.
I'm glad McTominay is playing for a manager like Antonio Conte and
Yeah,
for a
same.
club like Napoli. If he could go anywhere, I think this is the ideal, the best move, better than moving to Fulham, or some mid-table
Yeah.
Premier League club. I just want to, push back universally on this Ten Hag narrative and
Sean,
back
I
my
need to
guy
go,
because
man, but I don't want to abandon you like
no,
this.
no, don't abandon me because
But
honestly,
yeah, you've
like
already abandoned him.
it's just
Just
it's
Shut up,
because
just
man.
Sean
easy.
McTominay got sold,
Sean,
you already abandoned him.
nah,
Sean, I
Sean,
No,
want to
but
hear
move,
wait,
from
man.
it's
Tom.
just
Sean,
oh,
hold your
go
thought. I
ahead,
want
I'm
to hear
sorry.
from Tom. I want to hear from Tom. Tom, if it was up to Bombay tonight, we will be signing another 5 Scott McTominays plus Lukaku back to Man United. If that terrorist of a manager, Conte, would have been Man United manager, that's the type of level of play we would have been signing. Are you happy with that? And do you see that?
No,
Do you understand that now there's real pressure? He loses on Sunday. The pressure's only going to build.
yeah, of course. We
Eric
know
Ten
that.
Hag.
Absolutely. We always said this. And look, as soon as it came to the forefront, the best way that I can look at all of this is, guys, if Tuchel and Man United would have agreed terms upon the sort of structure that he was going to come in with, you wouldn't even have Eric Ten Hag as the manager right now. They went to him, they flew all the best fucking people out, the lawyers, everybody to Ibiza, and they tried to convince Ten Hag to stay by whatever means necessary. They even told the guy, he told you on Dutch media TV, that he knew that they were speaking to other managers about his job, that he didn't even know if he had or he didn't have. So the fact that we're even having this conversation anyway, if things went a different way, guys, they'd have moved in a different direction with somebody different anyway. That was the plan. But because they couldn't get anybody that they wanted, really, and the manager market, let's face it, guys, it was quite shit when clubs were appointing new managers. They had to go for new modern styles. Liverpool didn't go for a top class manager of like a Conte who was on the market or a Mourinho or anybody like that. They went for a Dutch coach who's had relative good success in that league. We did the same thing with Ten Hag 3 years ago. Arnie Slot's just a new Ten Hag on the block. Had a decent spell in Holland. He's come to a different league, different environment, bigger budget at Liverpool than what he had at Feyenoord, and trying to prove a point. But the difference with Ten Hag is, and I said this even when, he didn't really sign an extension, but we'll call it an extension anyway. When he signs this extension anyway for this season, there's no excuses. He's got a fully fit squad, barring 2 players. One of them he couldn't really do much about with INEOS. And to be honest with you guys, he'd probably be sitting on the bench anyway, because I don't think a lot of us would consider INEOS to be a starting player. Not ahead of the likes of maybe Maguire, Martinez, and De Ligt at the moment. So he would probably be sitting on the bench as a squad option for the time being. And the only other player is Højlund. But apart from that, guys, he's got full reign. He's got all his players available to him. So as far as it goes in terms of getting results and a sustainable style of play going forward, now it's now or never. And at the end of the day, if he loses to Liverpool at the weekend, I don't necessarily think it's if he loses, but I think it's the way that he loses the game. If they do something like they did stupidly against Brighton, like the best case, I said this on Jarvis' show as well, the best case that I could say with it was the Brighton game. I can kind of forgive it because it's game week 2. But if you do that at the latter stage of the season and you don't convince your team, or you don't put them in a certain block or a formation where you can just see the game out and think, okay, let's just stick for 1 point.
Tom,
When it
I don't
gets to nitty gritty of the
but
season,
I need to jet, man. I don't want to
Yeah, go on.
as your mid chat. Boys, good night.
Yeah, save it.
Right.
Take
Good
care,
night.
lads.
Yeah. No, but what I'm
Big
saying
up,
is
Mumbai.
anyway, when you
Big up,
get to a
Mumbai.
later stage
Abandon
in the
your boy.
season, when you get
Big
to the
up,
later
Mumbai.
stage in a season, guys, like if we're in this supposed top 4 race at the end of the season, I want him to better manage games like we did against Brighton, and just if it's mean that we're away at a tricky ground where we've never had a good record or whatever, just see the game out, guys. Game management, use your squad, use your tools. There's no excuses. There's nowhere to run Eric Ten Hag. You've been backed over the hill. You've got loads of your supposed boys in here. You've worked with them before and everything. There's
Tom,
no
I just want to bring
excuses.
it back. Tom, I want to bring it back to Ugarte. Are you welcoming Ugarte to Manchester United?
I am, yeah. Out of all the players, I was the one when we sat here and we did the Fofana, Zubimendi and Ugarte thing. I said that I think he'd be the best one that would fit us for what we need right now. Because Zubimendi and Fofana, they might be brilliant on the ball and all the distribution and everything, guys, but they don't cover the ground well. One of them plays in Spain where the football's glued to your feet. The other one plays in France and he's never had a big club come for him for about 5 years. There's always been this big jump about him. The same thing for players like Milinkovic-Savic, guys. How many times has clubs been linked to get him out of Lazio? And no fucker's ever done the job to get him out of there. So he can't be that great of a player. So they say, listen, the thing with Ugarte, I think, similar to what you said, Dino, he's gone to France. I kind of think he went there hoodwinked, to be completely honest with you. He went in there in the dark because when he actually went there, he didn't actually know who his manager was going to be. He didn't know the coach. He didn't have any sort of conversation with a coach or a manager or anything. He just went there in the dark. He didn't know anything. So the argument of that now Enrique just doesn't want to use him, I can understand why, because he's not his style of player. PSG didn't realise that until they bought Ugarte already. And look, he's tried to work with him. It's not his player. When you work with managers like Pep and, Enrique and Spalletti, these kind of coaches, you either fit the style or you don't. They're not going to coach you to play that style if you're not born to play that style, if that makes sense. And when they can go out there in football, in the wider network of football, and they can get a player who can play that style instead of coaching you to play that way, that's not how those guys work. So at the end of the day, from what I like with Ugarte, the sort of profiling I look at him as like a Mascherano type player, if I'm being completely honest with you, from when there was that aggressiveness, that tenacity to get around the pitch, bit of a nuisance player, a disruptor. I agreed with what one of you guys said before about I think he's very similar to Kante, but the only part in that I'm going to say with it is I don't think he's really taken off in his career since he's left Sporting. So I do think from what I look at it is you are getting the player that you was going to get at Sporting, because when he's gone to Paris, I don't really think he's had a fair crack with a manager that actually wanted him. This is the difference. Eric Ten Hag wanted this player. He's the one who said that I want certain characteristics, and this is the player that they've come with. They didn't flip-flop and go for these other players, guys. They stuck to the target, and they've got the player that they wanted. So this is what I'm saying, though, guys. Eric Ten Hag, he has got what he wanted. He's got a lot of the players that he wanted. He's got the structure above him that he wanted. He's got his coaching staff that he wanted 3 years ago. So there's no excuses now. We're going to see this Ten Hag ball, or I don't even fucking know, Eric ball, whatever you want to phrase it as. We're going to see it now. But I don't want to see this nitty gritty where we're getting to 80 minutes in games and it's either shit or bust, and we blow the game in the 95th minute. If you can't win the game, if the game's not there to be won, guys, on that day, understand that Eric Ten Hag and utilise it. And that's the exact point I'm going to make, guys. When you go away to, say, Anfield, a difficult ground for us, you go away to St James's Park, a difficult ground for us. If you 1-1 in 80 minutes and you don't believe there's a way of winning the game, big teams like City or Liverpool, if they don't think they can win the game, they just manage the game out and they'll take a point and they'll go home next week. It's better not to have lost that game because of the circumstances of it than to have lost. It would better to draw the game in the circumstances of it than lost the game in the way that we did in the end. So in the end, I think a player like Ugarte, guys, for me, if we'd have had him at the weekend, bring him on at 80 minutes and show the game up. Stick him next to Casemiro, whoever. Show the game up. See it out. I'm not bothered. But for me, I like him as a player personally, guys. I don't think we've got a fair crack in Paris. And I think for all the players that we've been linked with at the moment anyway, guys, out of all the players that we've signed, I think he's probably the player that's got a lot to prove out of all the players that we have signed. Because a lot of people have written him off as a lost cause because Enrique doesn't want to work with him. But I don't always think that one club can tarnish a player, and he's still young. So even if it doesn't work, you can still sell him on.
Listen, but the biggest thing for me, Tom, is that I don't think he's the answers to everything. I think the answers are to good coaching, to fucking good coaching. The answers is a proper coaching structure, a proper way of playing. That's what the answer is to Manchester United being having sustainable football, keeping possession of the pitch, Tom. That's the answer. But do I like, actually, as a player? Yeah, I do like Ugarte.
He's going to sit on the halfway line, do you know?
Yeah, but do I think he's going to solve our problems? No. Do I think INEOS have tripled down on the way Ten Hag wants and the type of player that he wants? Yes. I think Erik Ten Hag cannot, other than a left back, he cannot moan anymore because he wanted Rasmus. You know, he said yes to Xerxes. You know, he said yes to majority of these players. So at the end of the day, I personally think, other than a left back, and now I was thinking Lindelof was going to play left back, but Lindelof could be off. So who's going to say Maguire, Harry Maguire as a left back, Jarvis? Or Sean? Are we going to have Harry Maguire as a left back?
Martinez is an option.
Well, we have if Lindelof goes, Lindelof was a safe bet, and he's horrendous left back. If something, God forbid,
we could actually go with the back three when we finally have a shield.
So you're going to have to win back. You're going to have to win back. No, 1 second, Jarvis. Give me your 2 win backs then.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, Masraoui and Dallo. Those are the 2, or even Ganache or someone like that.
No, Anthony. But what I'm saying to you, but imagine one of them gets injured. Who are you going to have as the other win back?
No, if you cannot go into guys. You cannot go into a season planning for. You cannot go into a season planning for a situation where both your left backs are injured and your backup right back, who happens to be able to play left back, is also injured.
Can I just get a sentence? Can I just get a sentence? As you say that,
if you
both
let me
our
finish
left
now.
backs are injured, as you say that.
Yeah.
The
So if you let me
that.
finish now, right? If you let me finish, so the situation that United finds ourselves like, it's very unfortunate. It's not a usual situation for any club to.
Go ahead. Can't hear you, Sean.
No. Wait, you can't hear me, or you can't hear me?
No, I couldn't hear. Oh, did you finish? Sorry, did you finish the point that you made?
No, I'm saying that like we need to consider the fact that the injury situation at United right now is unique, right? So with both our left backs injured, and if Mazraoui were to get injured, that would be a unique situation, and we would be in dire straits. But you cannot plan for a season.
You're talking about a player who's one of the most injury-prone players in his position in the last how many years. One thing that Mazraoui does, Mazraoui is a good player, but one thing that he does, Sean,
it could happen, but if you let me respond,
he gets fucking injured.
It could happen. It could happen, and it would likely happen, right? But you pay some people a lot of money to be fitness experts and recovery specialists. You also are working with limited resources, right? So it's not like you have unlimited funds to just buy every player that you would like. So you have to choose. And if you were Manchester United, what would you prioritize right now? If you were to sign another player, or if you needed to sign somebody else, it makes sense to sign Ugarte over a left back. And I think the window should be closed. On the Ugarte topic and on United in general and on Ten Hag, this has been the longest, I think, 2 days of my life since the game against Brighton, because like it was a 4:30 a.m. game. I watched it with like one eye open and one eye, asleep. And
what time is the game, Sean?
4:30 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, that's a bit too early.
Yeah.
I hope the wife wasn't happy. If she's not happy, they should kick you out.
No, I got to the living room to watch it. So I like one
Manchester United doing new marriages, the world of good.
One eye open and one eye asleep, right? So since that game, I've watched the game again 3 times, Because I was wondering if I was going crazy with the coverage I was hearing of this Brighton game, as if we were so terrible or we were shit. And the game I've seen, now, like I said, 3 times, United seemed in control. And for the most part of that game, Brighton scored against the run of play. We dominated first half. They scored against the
I
run
give
of
you
play.
that. I give you that.
We came into the second half, on the back of their fans cheering them loudly and 1-0. We quickly stabilized, took control of the second half, put pressure on Brighton. Ten Hag made a deliberate change with Garnacho. That change yielded results. We scored, but we happened to be, I don't know, for some reason, terribly unlucky. And so Joshua Zirkzee was sliding. I don't know what he was trying to do there. But he slid, and the rest is history, as they say. But I think that Brighton game has given me a lot more confidence going into Liverpool and going into the rest of the season. And I think, not only do we need to cut Ten Hag some slack, but I think we need to really reflect as United fans on what exactly it is that we're doing, right? Why is the conversation 2 games into the season
I love the
about
way
whether or not I'm not saying that it's
it's
wrong,
just
right?
false time business. It's just false
No,
time business, Sean. Let me say something. There's many reasons why. Sean, you said enough. Let me just come in there now. You said, Sean, don't let me grass to the missus. What
no,
you
wait,
doing?
no, wait, no.
Getting up 4:30 in the morning, speaking in United, one eye open. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. The other 2 times that you watched the game, you were still watching it with one eye open. So you watched the game 3 times with one eye open.
I know you
right?
don't understand
Let me just say
when I
this thing.
said this
Let
game
me
has
just
been
say this
bothering
thing.
me. These are the longest 2 days because the noise around United
Let me just
this season,
listen,
it doesn't feel like we just started. It seems like we're
Sean,
20 games in and everything is going to shit.
Sean, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? This aspect of it is to be expected because of what happened last season, right? So
Come
that's
on.
one of the reasons why the uproar is. The other reason is you conveniently, I love the way you conveniently left out. You're a football fan, you watch football, and I doubt that you analysed the game the 2 times that you watched. But you conveniently missed out how terrible our passing was in that first half. How we pressed the first half. We were in control, but the Brighton goalkeeper had zilch to save, right? Not like Fulham. Fulham, he was their man of the match. Their goalkeeper was making saves right, left, and centre.
What are you
So,
asking for
Sean,
now, right?
and then also, when they played such a high line, where we had Casemiro on the ball 3 occasions, we had Maguire on the ball, we had Martinez, they couldn't even play the Lord Dink ball over the top because the people up the front couldn't even fucking stay on side. I thought Ahmed, for all the things that we love him, I thought he was giving the ball away. Bruno giving the ball away. Mount giving the ball away. Rashford fucking giving the ball away. Who else? Kobe giving the. Every one of them was giving the fucking ball away. But I like that. So I like that, Sean. You conveniently miss all of that out. Manchester United, while they were in control, Sean, Manchester United, while they were in control, played shit.
I did not
And in the
conveniently
second half, there was only one team in terms of soon as that goal, the disallowed goal went against us, heads dropped. And the only other team, Jarvis will tell you, was Brighton that were looking to get that winner. And
so I disagree, right? And I want to clarify that when I say I watched the game several times, I have sat down to rewatch this game because the noise around United for the second game of the season, it just seems so intense. Everywhere I look, every kind of reporting. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think this is.
It's in a vacuum. It's to last season.
No, it's not in a vacuum, right? And I take a point that it's not in a vacuum. It's in the context of last season, and that is valid, right? But I'm saying, as United fans, I am calling us to what I think is a responsibility to have more interesting or useful conversations, right? So Ten Hag is the manager that the club has chosen. The game against Brighton, I'm not leaving out the fact that we were bad on the ball. In fact, I'll take it a step further and acknowledge that that is an important part of what needs to be worked on. But I would ask you what you're expecting of the team between what you saw last season and the second game of the new season, right? How much improvement do you expect to see in the performance and in these things that you raise, right? Bruno's care of the ball and all that stuff. How much of an improvement do you expect to see? I think we're seeing a reasonable amount for the amount of time that has
For me,
passed.
we're not. For
and
me, we're not.
and
For me, we're not. For me,
no,
we're
no,
not. We're not. Listen, like I said to you, I gave praise.
critical.
I gave Sean. Let me finish. I gave praise against Fulham. We did a mass reaction. Their goalkeeper made saves, so it was bad finishing. Jarvis, Tom, we were all here. We did it. This game, we can't say the same about that. We scored 2 goals, both of them offside. One of them unluckily offside. But other than that, our heads dropped. We were defending like dogs. Me and Saeed didn't watch along. And Saeed, 10, 15 minutes
we
ago,
had more touches than Brighton.
Saeed
We had
says
more
that on
touches
the
than
stream.
Brighton. More
Saeed staying on
passes,
the stream,
more
Sean.
shots.
Sean, we're not going to shout over each other. Saeed is staying over the stream 15 minutes ago. If you can't win it, don't lose it. And Manchester United want to lose it. But anyway, I don't want to replay the game. I've already done the match analysis.
Let's not replay the game, right?
I've already done the analysis.
The game.
Go on.
The point I just wanted to make was that I think, as far as this season goes, while I agree with everyone that Ten Hag, the excuses are limited right now. The expectations are higher for this season. I just don't think it's a useful conversation to be having game week 2 when we just signed a 23-year-old defensive midfielder that we've all been crying out for. I don't think it's a useful conversation to be having.
No, it is.
Unless you have an agenda.
No, it is.
Unless you have an agenda. Because I don't know what you're looking for.
Listen,
right?
I have zero agenda. I have zero. I actually didn't blame
So why are we
Eric Ten
talking
Hag.
about?
Listen to
Why
me.
are we talking about
Sean,
all the
I'm
ways
not gonna talk over
things
you,
could
Sean.
go wrong?
Sean,
Sure.
all due respect, bro. I said I'm not going to talk over you. So you
Okay,
said
go
something.
ahead. My
Let
bad.
me come in. We're not going to shout over each other like we did last season. That's not happening. So respectfully, once you say something, finish your sentence. So I'll come back and say. At the end of the day, it was this simple. I actually didn't blame Eric Ten Hag. Manchester United conceded 2 goals, which was basic, absolutely basic. Brighton played a high line. The ball over the top was basic. Players staying on line, players be able to pass was basic. So I don't actually blame this game on him. But it is relevant when you get Ugarte. And I said, if Manchester United do not get a ball-playing midfield player, then that tells me everything that I need to know about where the process is going. He's doubling down on the way to be in terms of just having runners and having this high press, and then that he's begging and praying that Ugarte straight away settles in and adapts quickly so that he can be the guy to limit the counter-attacks on us. And I think that's dangerous because Ugarte, as I explained, from all my reviews, all the stuff that I've done, scouting reviews that I've done on him, I particularly mentioned AC Milan PSG game. I specifically talked about what teams will do. Technical teams will just pass around him. And if he's just pressing like a headless chicken by himself, like Bruno was doing last season and the first season, then what would happen is he'll get exposed. Because, and I also explained the fact that it took him time to adapt to the French league, which is the closest league to the Premier League. And the Premier League is even far more intense and physical than the French league. So, all this considering, I welcome him. He's 23 years old. I think he's got a lot of ways to improve. And I personally believe and think if he gets the right coaching and the right help, he can improve the other aspects of his game. I don't think he's as terrible as people make it out to be on the ball. I don't think he's as terrible. I think he's long passing, like me and Jarvis said the other night, is quite decent. But in the Premier League, you don't even get.
We're not talking about.
Listen, you don't even get that amount of time.
If he gets the right coaching, he's a United player. We want the best for him, and for him.
Sean, we're not going to overtalk each other. So let me just finish the sentence. Like me and Jarvis discussed, he's actually long passing is quite decent. But I add the caveat is that in the Premier League, you haven't even got the time to look up unless teams get off you. But the idea that his take-ons and stuff like that is quite good. But in the Premier League, the space is damaged. So at the end of the day, there is certain things about Ugarte that I like. And I kept talking about it. And I said I would rather have him than Sanderberg. You know what I mean? I said that, and me and Jarvis argued, and Jarvis actually, I bowed down to his knowledge because he's followed Sanderberg's career from when he was 16, 17. So he knows a lot more about Sanderberg than I do, right? So at the end of the day, it's simple for me. I hope he does well, but the caveats for him to improve, I'm not as giddy as I would be if we get Zuamendi, I know what football we'll try to play. I know that we've tried to have a player who could dictate the tempo like Paul Scholes did, and that's for us to sustain attacks. We need that player who gets the ball and plays quickly through the thirds. We don't have that. We didn't get that. Instead, we're getting somebody to do damage control when we lose the ball, and that means we're not going to be holding as possession as up the pitch as I would like to and expect it. But I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to come up here. If I'm wrong, I'll sit here and I'll say I'm wrong. Erik ten Hag has actually got more sustainable football, got the sustainable possession that we need in the last third for us to win games, and that to test the goalkeeper more. But Jarvis, come in.
Yeah. I think you're right when it comes to Ugarte. I just added this to the stage while you were talking, and this is his passing. As you see, his pass completion is 80%. Passes completed, but when it comes to long passes, pass completion, long passes is in the 98th percentile of the top 5 leagues, 82.9%. So that's actually quite good, I would say. And his medium passes and short game is actually quite good. So he in his passing game, I think is brilliant. But the thing is, how many passes do he do in the full 90 minutes? So I think he's on a little bit of a medium.
Passes attempted. Scroll up.
Yeah. Here you have passes attempted. So he's on the 50. Yeah, he's 59.3 passes per 90. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But what we lack with Ugarte is, you see here, it's goals, assists, shooting on target. So he won't contribute anything when it comes to going forward. But his passing game is excellent. His pass types, excellent. And his defense, tackles 1, 99, 98, 97, 99, 99, 99, 99. And I could go on all day when it comes to his defensive stats. So I think he will plug the gap when it comes to defensive. And I think he will do well. And we saw it last season. We needed someone to fill that big hole in the central of the midfield. You're on mute again.
Yeah, we miss Fred. Remember, Fred used to help us close down games in the first season of Erik ten Hag. Yeah, so I expect him to be more mobile than Fred, right? More mobile, better. But I said he's 23, he's younger, and he's got levels to improve. So that's what I'm banking on. But I don't think it's the finished article yet.
No.
Think
he won't
it's
fix
the way
all
that he's going to
problems.
be used. It's going to be the way he's going to be used. But if we don't sign another midfielder, it tells me more what Erik ten Hag's doubling down on. Is this kind of basketball certification, especially in the last 20 minutes?
No, Nuruddin, it
shouldn't
tell you that. No,
that is a fact. It would tell me that. That's my opinion, Sean. It won't tell me that. It will tell me that. Sean, you cannot tell me. It won't tell me. It will tell me that.
Yeah, I'm responding to you.
If we were to
sign your opinion.
Supermendi, if we sign Ugarte and Supermendi, then I'll be like, oh, shit. If we sign Ugarte and Sanderberg, I'll be like, okay. But if we sign even Rabiot, I don't even rate Rabiot to that extent.
I'm responding to your opinion now, right, Nuruddin. In our midfield right now, there are 3 slots available to play, 3 positions, right? So it's gonna be Ugarte, Kobe Mainu, and Bruno. I think it's their due starting 11. So any other midfielder you're bringing in is either gonna play one of those 3 positions, right? I think you have to ask yourself, what type of person do you want playing in Ugarte position? I think initially when Ten Hag came, he wanted Frankie de Jong. So he wanted the Zubimendi type, Sanderberg type midfielder. But he evolved in his thinking, either by virtue of his experience at United or a change of direction or whatever. He switched with what he got with Casemiro, adapted, and now they're looking for Ugarte. I would also note that we should be, I think, comforted by the fact that Ten Hag has a team around him now. So Wilcox, Dan Ashworth, all the people who are involved in football.
No, Sean, I'll come in quickly. They backed him. They backed his game model. They're not producing a new game model.
Now, the same way you said that's your opinion. This, I think, is
Jarvis. Am I right or wrong? Jarvis, am I right or wrong?
It's all about framing. I don't think this is a question of right or wrong.
They've not backed it.
I don't think.
Sean, are you going to come on here and tell me that INEOS have not backed?
I'm not disagreeing with you. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think it's a question of right or wrong. I think it's a question of framing, right? How you frame what is happening. So the way I am choosing to frame it is that Ten Hag, as part of the negotiation that saw him keep his job, accepted that some of his powers were going to be taken away from him. Some of the initial powers that he agreed to when he first signed on with the Glazers, some of those responsibilities are going to be taken away from him and handed over to some people who the club wants to specialize in those various facets. And he accepted that compromise, I believe. I think part of the compromise also included the overall style of play that Ten Hag agreed to. He agreed to surrender some of the decision making and responsibility for how the club plays. And he agreed to that compromise. And in exchange, the club extended his contract with the premise that hey, we still obviously are expect you as a manager to have some agency. So if your decision making sucks throughout the 1 year that we extend the contract, we're going to part ways and we'll let you go. Right? It's not a super endorsement, but at the same time, it's not backing as you're trying to frame it. Right? A change has been made in how football decisions are handled at United, such that it's not only Ten Hag that is involved. So I believe that if we sign Ugarte, the same way we signed Euro and everybody, there is a clear process, basically, that which Ten Hag is a part because he's the manager of the club, but he's not the only part. So I choose to not talk about it in terms of Ten Hag has been backed, now he must deliver, right? Because what I'm pushing back against is this sense that every game is a Armageddon, where every match becomes, do or die. Where if we win, okay, like we're winning every game to survive to the next day. Where if we lose, it's all hell breaks loose. Sack Ten Hag, sack the manager, sack the manager. I can't. I'm saying 2 weeks into the Premier League, I can't take it, right? Because this last week it was a lot. It just it's too much, right? And I'm saying as fans, we need to, I think, go back to enjoying the game for the game, right? As opposed to prognosticating, right? We support this team and we back the manager. We think it's a simple question of, because I mean I was so impressed by the fact that, do you guys realize that Bruno Fernandes and Rashford came off before Ahmad Amino in the game against Brighton? Ten Hag subbed off Bruno and Rashford before Ahmad and Kobe Mino. Who would have thought that was thinkable 4 months ago? That to me shows the manager learning clearly from his mistakes. The manager tried to do something by taking off Bruno from McTominay, and when McTominay came in, he had, I think, 2 or 3 clear situations where he gave a pass in behind for Garnacho. He got the ball and laid it on for somebody, and we broke the line. So McTominay contributed, I think, to our place. I mean, we have to, I think, as fans, step in, because the media is on Ten Hag, and I don't think the team survives if every single game is an inquest, and every single game, we either win or it's to hell with United. We're not going anywhere, because the idea that it would change, that I promise you guys, there is no manager in the world that the English media would love if they manage United. There's no one. There's no one that would manage United that's, the media and Simon Jordan and the guys at ESPN or BBC, all these motherfuckers would say, oh, United is finally in the right direction, right? So the only people who can, I think, support, speak for, and protect this club are the fans who support the club, right? And against Liverpool this weekend, we need Old Trafford to be, essentially the 12th, how did they say it, 12th man on the pitch, because everything that you asked for, style of play, meritocracy, clear direction in terms of the back room, getting rid of quote unquote deadwood, everything that we've asked for as fans, we're seeing it, right? But we're falling prey to the temptation of, like, sensational media, and we're carrying out
Sean, I've let you say, Sean. I think you're just regurgitating. You want to get behind, we're playing Liverpool and all that, right? I'll let you finish your thing. Right. Sean, you have to understand this. It's a pressure. Eric Ten Hag is not doing the job for Manchester United as a fucking charity. Eric Ten Hag is a manager who came in the first season, did well. Second season was absolutely disturbing, disgusting. The fact that he's a Manchester United manager is locked because he won a fucking game. He won one game in the FA Cup, and that's the reason why he kept his job. So I'm sorry to say, Sean. So him getting a contract is It has to prove to get the trust of large swathes of the fan base. It's got nothing to do with fucking prick Simon Jordan, the BBC, or anything about the British media or not media. Football, Sean, is about your team as a manager, what you produce, regardless of what. If Eric Ten Hag was producing on the football pitch in terms of the team and the sustainable football, and Manchester United scoring goals, Manchester United are progressing, all that noise could be shut out because we as fans don't listen to that noise. The noise is fueled because of Eric Ten Hag's deficiencies and the way he managed last season and the way he was managing, making us believe basic Sunday league fucking basketballification fucking mistakes was the thing. So now, Sean, what you have to understand is, whether you like it or not, he is. Every game's going to be scrutinized because now there is no excuses. Other than a left back and maybe another midfield player, and that's, you can say that about every manager.
No excuses,
right?
for
Let
what?
me say
For not
something.
winning
No, let
every
me finish,
single
Sean.
game.
Sean, I've stayed quiet. Other than that, then Eric Ten Hag's been backed. So for me, it shows me the level of players we sign, right? The reason why we signed Xerxes, Jarvis, Sean, and everybody else watching, is that when we win the ball back up the pitch, Xerxes is the guy to get on the ball to link the play, right?
Yeah.
He's the guy to link the people, right? Because
Or
he's
Bruno.
staying up there, or Bruno. But Bruno plays hoofball. Xerxes is a bit more technical, right? Bit more physical and bit more technical, right? We signed Masraoui because we know how to. He knows how to invert. He knows the rhythm, like how sensational he was on his debut. It's one of the best debuts I've ever seen at Manchester United, right?
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. So getting Ugarte, we can read into, unless we sign Supermendy or somebody who's technically gifted on the ball that keeps the ball, then we have decided that we're doubling down on the type of style of football that Eric Ten Hag wants to play. And that is more strenuous. Now, we hope and pray he gets somebody else off the bench like he did in his first season with Fred. Remember, in his first season, he was using Fred a lot to close out games. Remember, Leicester away, Southampton away, a lot of these games, I think it was Fulham away, he was using Fred to come and close out the games and defenders to close out games, right? So I hope it's that. But if it's what we saw against Brighton on Saturday, then we're in for a roller coaster and he's going to get his P45. Like I said, Eric Ten Hag is getting handsomely paid for this. He ain't doing this job a favor or whatever on us. He's not. He finished for the record, he's got the worst finish of Manchester United league history. He's also got records that are just horrendous. Manchester United 6 times have been beaten by last-minute winners. In 32 years, Manchester United were only ever beaten last-minute goals twice. That was under Fergie. So the records are stacking up against him. Manchester United, right? Jarvis, I'll bring you in. Manchester United can't score fucking goals. People are apologizing on Twitter to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's a queue of people because they're like, last time we scored 6 was under Ole. Last time we scored 3 was under Ole. Last time we scored 4 was under Ole. Last time we scored 5 was under Ole. And I can say the same. The last time we were conceding 4 on 5s and 3s away games was under Ole as well. So it's give and take. So the point I want to make to you is that we don't look like we can sustain possession up the pitch. Players look like they're confused and lost. Is he giving them too much instructions? Is he confusing them? Is he overcomplicating the football? All will be sold. But as far in the last 2 games we see, the last 20 minutes in games is basketball to vacation because Kobe gets shattered, Casemiro gets shattered, right? And he doubles down on not taking them both off, right? Either of them off. He took Kobe off, to be fair to him, last game, the first game. This game, he didn't. So at the end of the day, that's what we have to call up with. So it's not about me personally, whether I would want a manager of Manchester United. You have to show me. You don't get the fucking respect and credit unless you win a league title. You might get that. Yeah, I'll give you that when you win me a league title, when you fucking take me to Champions League semi-final, quarter-final, or be a threat in the Champions League. That's when you get the respect that you should gain. But at this moment in time, he's showing me 8, and he's showing me even in his first season 7-0 to fucking Liverpool. So what the fuck are you talking about? But go ahead, Jarvis, and then we'll bring Sean.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that stat everybody talks about, that he lost in 6 games in the 90th minutes or in the dying minutes. Something happened with the injury time last season. So well, they're adding 10 minutes every game, so no wonder that stats is in not in Ten Hag's favor. But I have to say it's about mentality, and that was one of the things I mentioned at the end of last season. What Ten Hag needs to improve, and I talked about mental resilience, and we need to be stronger when it comes to key moments in the game. Also, when we talk about the press play, I think people quite don't understand the false nine thing, because now we press a little bit different. We are more narrow in our press on one side. Last season we pressed all over the place, but now we have Bruno and Mount. They are not pressing like this. They are pressing like one in this way and one in this, like opposite. So they close in on one side. So it's easier for the team to press, and our press play is very effective. I think we are at least in top 3 this Premier League season in high turnovers. So Ten Hag is doing something right, and when we get the right players in, I think we miss Højlund a little bit, because we need more power up front. We need a focal point. Xerxes, I think he will come good, but he lacks a little bit of match fitness. We all heard that he was actually injured during the Euros, and he just came back into training. There's a lot of things. So I think we won't see the full what do you call it, Ten Hag's full potential until I would say 3 to 4 weeks after the international break. Maybe we would have time to train together and get these things working. But for me now, the biggest thing we need to fix, because the press play is good, I think we are doing a lot of things right, but it's about what to do when we win the ball. It's about I can call it technical skills under pressure. When we win the ball, what do we do? Because we win the ball, but we don't know what to do with it. We lose the ball again. We don't have good enough patterns under high pressure when the high tempo is high and intense situation. This includes ball control, passing accuracy, about what to do in quick transition, technical drills. We need to install high intensity and learn how to do this. And we need more technical players, better players with more skills. And I see we are going in the right direction. So I will give it to Sean, but I'm not blue-eyed. I'm not thinking that Ten Hag is the all and end all and he will fix every problem. I think he needs backing, and I think he needs more backing, but he needs also to show results. So I'm a little bit in between. I hope that he will do well. I'm backing the team. I want us to win this season as much as possible and play good football. But it's a little bit up to the players. And for now, the biggest problem for me is Maguire and it's Casemiro. Both of them, they can't play what Ten Hag wants them to do. They can't do what Ten Hag wants them to do. And that's the biggest deficiency in our squad at the moment. And it can also include Rashford. So if we can fix those problems, I think we can come good. That's just my 2 pence on the situation. But we will see. I'm a little bit like Nuruddin, Boumbaye at the moment. I'm very intrigued. I want to see what will happen if Ten Hag actually can make this happen with the proper backing.
Go on, Sean. After last
Yeah,
week,
I
let's
mean,
go.
no, I think last season and the way I look at Ten Hag, he's a good manager. So all the thing I'm looking for a coach, he has good ideas. He's a good manager. When he had his full team available, we looked threatening, looked dangerous. We went on a run last season. Where were we falling short? We're falling short in terms of character, so the personality in the dressing room, and we're falling short in terms of injuries. The players basically available to Ten Hag to choose from. I think we're also falling short in terms of Ten Hag's decision making. So 3 areas that I was looking for Ten Hag to improve on. The first one, injuries. A lot of the players are back now, so we have a larger squad to select from. Character within the dressing room. We've signed I think, some senior players who seem like they have leadership qualities, even though they're young.
Yeah, but you saw on
Aggressive
the last
players.
goal, Sean, we conceded against Brighton. We don't have leaders in our squad. You
Yeah,
saw that.
no,
There was 10
no.
players looking at the ball and no one said anything. It's
That
dead
that
silent.
that goal that goal was crazy, right? And
Yeah.
I think And I think it's that's part of why this last game was so triggering to fans because it was so reminiscent of everything that we've seen last season. It just
Mhm.
seemed like we're rolling back the clock and we never left. Like nothing has changed from last season, as if we're exactly where we were. So I totally get what you're saying, right? And that type of thing, honestly, it speaks to leadership on the pitch. And but it's a thing of consequences, right? So who does Ten Hag punish anybody for the actions in this game? How does Ten Hag react? So Maguire and Casemiro, as you mentioned, do both of them play against Liverpool? The either of them, because even the first goal, right, between Maguire, Casemiro, and Martinez, there's a miscommunication that creates that space for
Yeah, but
Welbeck
Sean,
because
Sean, we have a
Martinez,
big
yeah.
problem if Maguire don't play because Ugarte is not good at the aerial balls. He's 5'9". He's
No,
not a
I mean,
dominant aerial ball player, and we have Martinez and De Ligt. None of them are really like in Maguire's level when it
I
comes
mean,
to heading.
I
So who will
think
do
I
that
think
job?
Maguire I think Maguire is sorry, I think Delete is decent in the air, right? And that's one. I think
Yeah, okay.
secondly, honestly with football, you can hardly ever get anything unless get everything unless your Man City are willing to do 115 charges so that you can manipulate your way to getting a freak like Rodri, right? Because so Rodri is the perfect midfielder. He's good on the tackle. He's good on the ball. He's
But
fast. He's
Eric Ten
strong. He
Hag,
has vision
but
on his
but
spirit.
but Sean, Eric Ten
Yeah.
Hag will not want the type of football that Eric Ten Hag wants to play. It's not the tiki-taka and it's not control kind of game. He wants the chaos
No,
football. He does.
No,
I'm
I
sorry to say,
it's
Sean, he
so
does.
so so
He
no,
I
it's
does.
don't I don't
domination.
I don't look at it as I
Domination.
don't look at it as chaos football. I look at it as the similar gang and press, high intensity, quick transition football that Ten Hag has always talked about, and that a lot of people from that similar school of thought try and play as well. Different variations of the same idea. And I think now that Ten Hag has the players to do it, it all comes down to his decision making. So Ten Hag, are you willing to make the right calls? Right. And
Mufti,
again, I would like to remind fans that, like I said, Ahmad and Kobe Mainu stayed on the pitch longer than Bruno and Rashford. How many times last season did you, as a fan, ask yourself why Bruno played 90 minutes, or why Rashford played 90 minutes, or where Ahmad was, or why the manager took off Kobe Mainu? So you have to be willing to give the manager credit,
no,
right,
no,
for
listen,
the
no, Sean,
decisions that he's making. And
Sean,
and if
I
if by
respected that.
virtue
I
of
clapped
I
that.
think it's
terrible luck.
down to fitness because Ahmad had full preseason. Bruno
Yeah,
didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's part of it, right? But at the same
Yeah.
time too, I think it showed bravery by the manager because I think it sent a message to Bruno. Bruno was surprised. Bruno couldn't believe it when he saw his number come up. Trust me, I think it sent a message to the squad. So I mean, I think I'm looking forward to seeing Ugarte. I think it's part of what the manager wants to do. We've needed legs in midfield. We need legs to cover ground and legs in somebody who's willing to make a tackle because all the players we have, a lot of them are soft. Bruno Fernandes is soft on the tackle. Casemiro is hard on the tackle, but he throws his legs around willingly, and his tackle is 50-50. Kobe Mino also is good on the ball, but his legs aren't the greatest, so we don't want him burning himself out trying to cover so many yards. So we need somebody in midfield with legs. And for the love of all things beautiful, if we have Casemiro, a five-time Champions League winner, on the bench as our backup DM, I don't think that's a bad place to be. So yeah, I'm encouraged. I'm looking forward to this season. I think what we saw from Brighton, from the game against Brighton, was good. I think we're unlucky to lose. Not to talk of even if we are drawn, we would have been unlucky not to get 3 points. I think from that game, because Ten Hag, everything was going according to plan. We were playing better than them. Ten Hag made a sub. The sub worked. We scored. We're just unlucky, and there's still some fragility in the team. So I really, really hope we win against Liverpool, right? Because I mean, going into the international break, if we lose, I just don't know how much of a how what kind of situation it would be in
Sean,
it.
can I
So
ask you a question?
sure.
Because now we know Ugarte is coming. We have sold McTominay. That's about 22 million in because we need to pay him like a 3 million compensation.
Yeah.
because of wages. And we sold Hannibal. I think that was about 9 million with add-ons. So now we have a little bit more money. We will probably bring one more player in before the end of the window.
Mm-hmm.
What type of profile? I'm not telling you to name a name. What type of profile do you think we need for the rest of the season, bringing in as the last
Can I
transfer?
just say big up
The
Saeed?
last-
Big up Saeed when I say
Yeah,
that. Big up
big up
Saeed for
Saeed.
the raid. Big up Saeed. Appreciate that, bro.
Big upside. I can give you a name, Jarvis. I would hijack the Ivan Tony deal. If it's I heard it's like 50 million or 40 million that Saudi wants to pay. I would get Ivan Tony. Get me a striker. Get me an actual striker, somebody that guarantees me 10 or 12 or 13 goals in a season, right? I'm sure Ivan Tony is very sorry. I'm sure he's very sorry for all the things that he did. I'm sure if he could redo his career again, he would make different choices. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a waste and disappointment, if he ends up in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, if I could wave a magic wand,
But,
Apparently,
get him.
Chelsea hijacking that deal, by the way. Chelsea.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody actually does hijack it. Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway,
the same question for you. Just quick one. What type of profile do you think we need if you can bring in one last player before
one
the
last
window
player.
ends?
I will
Yeah.
get Cucurella, a left back. I'm not waiting for that. For me, Shaw, the manager already came out and said Shaw can't play 2 games in a week. Last season, he already said that.
My
So-
people say who
so
don't
for
like
me,
the person.
and we know what state that knee or that ankle is going to come back in terms of Malacia. So I would go and get Cucurella, me personally, because I think that would give us a balance, and at least we've got backup on that side.
But Chelsea will never sell
I
him.
agree.
So that's who I would get. But because of the way Ten Hag wants to play, I would that. If not, I would have done everything to get Zubimendi out of Real Sociedad.
Sociedad, yeah.
But at the end of the day, he doesn't want to leave, does he? So it's one of them. But big up to everybody. Listen, we've done 2 hours. 2 hours. Well, 4 minutes actually. We might as well just do 2 hours. We've done absolutely 2 hours of show. And let me just see what other topics were for us to discuss. We're here already, so we might as well continue. Give the people what they want. 2 hours show. Let me have a look. McTominay, we talked about Ugarte, we talked about Sterling, we talked about Lindelof. I said, are you okay with Lindelof as the left back? But tonight we've been told that Lindelof might be going to Italy. So yeah, big up Eski. Big up the panel. Personally, I'm buying a new left back if we sell Sancho. Yeah, big up. Actually, let's see how the poll is going. By the way, not enough of you not even 100 likes on the video, by the way. Absolutely shambles. Not even 100 likes on it. Actually, 121 now. Big up. We should be 150, 60. So here's this. Would you swap Sancho for Sterling, 15%, Cucurella, 16%, Latvia, I put Latvia, but Latvia, 28%, get the money and buy a left back, 42%. So we can clearly see the therapy army. URT, URT, who are we? URT, URT. United Real Therapy Army have spoken. And I think they have spoken clearly. And they have spoken and said, nah, we don't want my guy. Yeah, Nuri, I heard he's quite injury prone, but he played well. Did you see the goal that he set up for Cunha against Chelsea?
Yeah.
Really good, technically really good player. Breaks into the last third. Quite strong, actually. You can't shake him off the ball because he's quite tall and strong. He was linked with Liverpool. But yeah, I would take him. Would you swap Jackson?
If we're being greedy, I'll take Mudryk.
Mutrid is even more worse. He's just a speed merchant.
We had Dan James. We sold Dan James. Why do we want Mudryk?
It's crazy.
I like a good speed merchant now. Yeah, can run in behind.
Speedy
but what does he do when he runs in behind? He can't do shit all. He doesn't know what to do when he's behind. Would you want that?
That guy is just a confidence player. He will end up being very good for Newcastle.
Yeah, he's young. His ceiling is good. He's just a good coach. And let's hope for his career that their new manager is the guy. But yeah, he's got a good. To me, he's a young player, and I'd never doubt young players. But at this moment in time, for his showing, he's not the guy. But I also like players with pace, really. But I like technicality and pace combined. I don't like pace for pace's sake. I need you to have a certain level of technical ability and to have the base. So Jarvis, who would you buy? You would buy left back, yeah? If you
I would love a left back, but I think also we need a midfielder. But if I need to choose, I would go for a left back. For me, Kadioglu was the guy, but now he's apparently signed for Brighton. So the second best will be that guy from Brighton, Bournemouth, Kerkes, the Hungarian guy. I think he looks good.
The Hungarian, yeah. He's quite. He can get up and down. One thing about him. Got a good wind of a left foot. He can get up and down. But you know what? Maybe my boy Amos might get a go. He might show us that he's good enough. But for me, I'll ask you the question: would you rather have Amos or would you have Lindelof? Sean, who would you have playing left back for Manchester United? Amos, the youngster, or Lindelof?
Who would I have? Amos, who is likely to be the one to play Lindelof.
Okay. But you would have Jarvis, who would you have?
Yeah, Amos, 100%. We saw it against Liverpool when he played. He actually put Mo Salah in his pocket in the second half. I think he has a great potential. He can be a fantastic left back. But, he's young. He's 17 years old, and he needs to develop. He's 17. You can't play in the Premier League when you're 17, or not many people can do that. So give him at least one more year before we bring him in.
Yeah, big up.
Yeah.
Amos is not. It's another Brandon Williams. No, he's not. He's actually a totally different type of player. He's a totally different level of skill set, different kind of player. I'm trying the reason why INEOS kept Ten Hag. I can't find anything. Listen, we'll see. I hope he does well. I genuinely hope he does well. I hope Erik Ten Hag, and I wish him nothing but the best. But he has to show it, man. I can wish it. We can all wish it. But he has to show it. But people, been going for 2 hours and 1 minute. Jam-packed show for you tonight. We called in the best people. Jarvis, Sean, Tommy, and Bumbaye. So let's get into it. Bowley 77. And here we go for Sean. If he lets me do it. Sometimes he lets me do it. Sometimes he doesn't. Oh, God. Sometimes he lets me. But sometimes he doesn't. It's weird. My laptop is weird. There we go. So the podcast. So this is this. Put these together. At Sean Thomas. But Jarvis, let them know what when your show is.
I do a show called Jarvis's Corner every Monday 9 p.m. It's pure football. We just sit there and talk football. Well, we kind of like this, but we have some special things. And Tom is always there. I have a brilliant co-host called Stu Oli, and Papi Potswana about Power Hour. It comes on. So, and sometimes in every 10th show, Nuruddin drops by and says hi.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't do the therapy show on Mondays like with Saeed anymore. We do that on Wednesdays sometimes. So hopefully you see more of me as the season progresses.
Cool.
How we see things. There you go. That's the thing. That's the podcast. How we see things. So Sean Thomas on Twitter. How we see things. It's the geopolitical podcast. You can find it all your cost providing apps. And the other one is Tom Journalist 1. Please make sure you check him out. Bumbaye, you never see him anywhere on social media. You only see him on this channel. And maybe on Jarvis Corner. Right? Yeah. That's all you do. So make sure, people. It is. Yeah, it's a great show. Big up to Jarvis. Great show. That's a proper, more structured show here. We don't do no structure here. Mr. Structure without the structure. We just preach what a structure should be. But big up to Jarvis and Stu at Jarvis Corner. Man UFC Realist TV. Actually, let me just go in here. Let me see it. Jarvis Corner. And it's Man UFC Realist TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. INEOS Realist TV. If I'm not, yeah, is that where we at? So how it is?
Yes, yes.
Jarvis Corner, INEOS Realist
There,
TV.
there. For people to see.
I'm just thinking, it's a way that I can do.
An
Save
elite
it.
caller
So
comes in, say smash the like, subscribe, turn on the notification, and let's go red. Because people, you got to remember, this channel is always shadow banned. People don't get their notifications. You have to hit that bell and pay attention. And actually, Nuruddin always put out a tweet before he goes on live on a show. So follow Nuruddin on Twitter.
there you go.
That guy,
That's the
Red Devil.
channel. There you go. That guy, Red Devil, Mr. Structure. That guy, Red Devil, Mr. Structure. There you go, people. Love and light, people. 2 hours,
Big up
4
everyone.
minutes.
Big up,
Good
guys.
night. It's been a late one.
Good night, guys.
Take care.
That's it.
We'll be
Take
back
care.
in any more news breaking. Good luck again. We say good luck to Scott McTominay and Napoli. We say welcome to Ugarte. I hope you have an amazing career. We say Sterling, no thank you. Cucurella, I'll take. Lindelof as a left back, no thank you. If you have to go to Lazio, go to Lazio. There we are, Jarvis. I don't think anything else to add to that. Nuruddin, will Eric Ten Hag start the Lit versus Liverpool? I hope so. Bless up, man. Love. Bless to you as well, Eric Ten Hag out. Take care, people. Jarvis, you're always superb, my friend. Like
Thank
I said, Bowley 77 people on Twitter. Jarvis Corner, Man UFC Realist TV, Mondays. Monday night, 9 o'clock. Take care, people. Good night.
Peace.